Welcome to an invitation. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Stone, and today I'm going to invite you to join me in making chicken crepes Provence. This was one of my mother's most favorite dishes, and it's my family's favorite dish. I really love it too, so it's going to be fun to do it with you. It starts with crepes, so we're going to make some crepes first. I will tell you a secret. If you can find frozen crepes at the grocery store, you can absolutely use those. Some grocery stores have them, some don't. But I'm going to show you how to make the crepes in case you can't find them. So we're going to start with 2 eggs that I've got. I'm just mixing them up a little bit. And we are going to add to that 3 tablespoons of butter. And I'm just going to put that in. And we have a 1/2 cup of water that I'm going to add to this. So we're going to stir that in. Make this nice batter. And then we have a cup of milk. And then we're going to finish with a cup of flour. So I'm going to go ahead and just slowly add this in. So you're basically making like a pancake batter, but it's much thinner than a pancake batter. And just like when you're making pancake batter, it's better if you can let this sit for a little bit before you make it so it all settles in and all those ingredients get combined and it won't bubble up on you as much when you're making it. So you can see I'm slowly putting that in so it's combining. It's really important for this piece is that you're using a whisk so you're breaking up that flour as you're putting it into the mixture. And now you can see you're getting a nice thick mixture. We'll finish the rest of the flour in there. And then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes and then we'll be back and we will make some crepes. All right, we're going to make the crepes. So I've let the batter sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. It's got a nice, beautiful consistency to it. So you want to start with a nice, clean pan that doesn't have any stuff set on the sides of it. And, you know, just anything baked in. You want to make sure you have a nice, clean pan. And I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of butter to this. And you don't want the pan to be too hot because if the pan's too hot, it will cook the batter too quickly when you put it in. So 2 teaspoons of butter to about 2 tablespoons of batter. And I'm just going to pour it in and start to roll it around so it covers the entire pan like it's doing like that. Okay, there we go. So you can see it's covered. Now I'm going to put it over low heat and let it cook for a minute. You've got enough butter in there so it will move. And then after about 35 to 45 seconds, we're going to flip it. Now, I'm going to show you how I flip it. You do not have to do this at home. You can do it with a spatula if you like. But I like to try to do it the fun way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So let's see if I can do this. All right, here we go. So there we go. So now I flipped it over. And when you're flipping, it's all in the wrist. If you're going to flip it in the wrist. That's where the flipping is. And you can see it doesn't take very long to do that. And so now we've got a nice, beautiful crepe. So we'll make one more, and then we'll go from there. So look at that crepe right in the middle, and we're going to pour it in and try to swirl it around so it gets all nice and covered. There we go. Let that cook. If you want a bigger crepe, you can use a little bit bigger pan. This is about a 6-inch pan. Sometimes I do an 8-inch pan and make a little bit larger crepe. But these are nice size, and if you feel like you've got too much batter, you can always move it to the outside a little bit. And I'll flip one with a spatula so you can see how that goes. So you just want to put it under there and then just turn it over very quickly. Except you get it stuck. See, that's why I don't do it this way, because I like, if you flip it, then it doesn't get stuck. There we go, but that's okay. Sometimes they start to puff up like that. You just want to give them a little, get that air bubble out of there. And what you want to do while you're making these crepes is you want to put them on a sheet pan with parchment paper in between them. All right, we're gonna assemble the crepes. So you see, I have a stack of crepes that were already made here. They're nice and thin. And I'm gonna put them, usually there's a side that's browner. I put the brown side onto the board. And we're going to lay out 4 at a time. And this is very simple. This is a sherry cream sauce that we use for these crepes. This is basically a bechamel sauce with some sherry added. If you want to find this recipe, it is in the description section of the video. It's a really yummy sauce, but again, it's basically a bechamel sauce with some sherry added. And we use real sherry, not cooking sherry, so it really has a nice flavor to it. The difference in real sherry and cooking sherry is that this cooking sherry is not nearly as strong. And I like that nice sherry flavor. So, and then we have some sauteed mushrooms that we're gonna put down right on top of that cream sauce. All right, and just 4 or 5 pieces on each one. These have just been sauteed, sliced and sauteed in a little butter. Very, very simple. And some diced chicken. This chicken was boiled and then it was seasoned with salt and pepper, cut into little cubes. We cut this small because the crepes are very delicate and they tend to fall apart if you use big chunks of chicken. They don't hold very well. So we're going to just pull this to the side and sort of tuck the crepe under. You have to be careful because they're very delicate. And then I'm going to stack them into this casserole dish. Now, if you wanted to make these ahead of time, you could do that and you could freeze them at this point. Or you could make these ahead of time, like you could make them the day ahead and then cook them the night of if you were having them for a party. Here we go. I'll make one more. It's not going to fit, but we're going to go ahead and roll it. So now we have this and we're going to put them in the oven, 350 degrees. For about 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm going to pour this bechamel sauce right on the top of these. That's what makes these so yummy. And you just kind of smooth it across like this so the crepes are covered and they don't get dried out when you're baking them. You know, my theory is a little sauce is good and a lot of sauce is better. It's kind of like butter. A little's good, a lot's better. All right, we're gonna put these in the oven for about 20 minutes, get them nice and hot and bubbly. When they come out, I'm gonna finish them on top with some fresh chives. You've got a beautiful, easy dinner to serve. Chicken crepes Provence. All right, let's give these a try. These are our chicken crepes Provence. Right as they came out of the oven, I finished them up with a little bit of chives. Wow, don't those look yummy? And they're so nice and tender. You can cut them with a fork. This is a great fork-only dinner if you're trying to do a dinner party where people need to eat on their laps instead of sitting at the table. This works very well. That is really yummy. You're going to love this. I love the sherry flavor that comes in at the end that you get in that sauce. And although it looks like it's heavy, it's really not. It's a very nice, light meal. I estimate 2 per person when I'm doing them, but the ladies usually eat 1 and the men usually eat 2. Some of the men eat 3, so you have to watch out that. Friends, enjoy cooking, enjoy entertaining, but most of all, enjoy the experience. Enjoy being with your friends. Cheers. Until next time.